Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the How to Build series where we're going through every single champion in the game, rare and above at least, and I'm going to give you a quick tip, quick reference guide, and this is for brand new, earlier, and players transitioning into mid-game, so this is not really going to be applicable for late game, but I wanted to give some guidance to the newer players with less experience on what to do with these champions when they pull them, because I see a lot of questions about what to do with them. So in these videos, I will not be going through masteries as they can be a little convoluted and they can be a little specific based on how you want to utilize a champion. So quick disclaimer before I get into it, I'm not saying that my way is the best way. I'm not saying I know better than everybody else. I'm simply trying to put out some helpful information to the newer players with less experience so that they know what to do with a champion and know kind of how to best utilize them. So go ahead and get your notepads ready, get your pause and rewind button ready because I'm going to be running through these a little bit. No graphics or anything like that on the screen. I just want to get these videos out. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into it and talk about Athel. She is one of your starter champions, and her base stats are pretty solid. She's got decent base HP, decent base attack, and pretty good base speed. That's a pretty solid base speed. So let's go ahead and talk about what she's bringing to the fight. Attacks one enemy 3 times, has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns on the last hit. So this is a really cool skill, and this is going to be really good for a lot of different reasons at pretty much all stages of the game, particularly late game clan boss. That this triple attack on the first skill with the weaken debuff, with such a high chance of landing the weaken debuff, is going to be really nice in late game clan boss. Now again, I'm not talking too much about late game, but I do want to mention how nice that would be in late game clan boss. So for the earlier game, it's going to be great in dungeons. Putting a weaken on the dungeon bosses is only going to speed your runs up, and she's going to be a great farmer, and we'll get into that as we go through her skills. But the weaken debuff on the first skill is really nice. That means you're basically going to be able to keep a weaken debuff on whatever type of boss it is you're fighting. So second skill, attacks all enemies, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So she's got that 15% crit chance built into her AoE skill. So by default, if you don't put a single point of crit rate on her, this skill has a 30% chance to crit, which is really, really cool. And it's an AoE, which is AoE is always nice. Higher Blessing is her third skill. She places a 25% increased attack buff on herself for 2 turns, and a defense buff, a 30% defense buff on herself for 2 turns. She gets the defense buff if her HP is less than 50%. So really, you're going to be using this a lot for the attack buff. This is nice because she doesn't necessarily need an attack buffer. She can buff herself. She can buff her own attack. So it also gives her an extra turn. So it's really cool. You can start the battle off with this skill, give yourself the attack buff, and then come back here and do your AoE. And that's generally how it's going to work. Another really cool thing about it is that by the time this skill's up again, if she's taken a few hits and she's under 50%, she's also going to give herself the defense buff. So it's she's got a very cool kit in that she's got this little extra turn built into this skill. She buffs herself, gets an extra turn, then comes in with the AoE. She's also got the 15% ally HP in all battles, as do all the starters. So pretty fun kit, and again, useful in a lot of places. She's not going to be quite as effective as a farmer as some of the other starters because she's only got 1 AoE. That doesn't mean she's not a viable farmer. It just means she's not going to be as efficient and as fast. She can still farm for you early game, but at some point I would imagine you'll pull a champion that's going to be a better farmer, or even fuse a relic keeper at some point, and he could become your farmer. So farming is not her big thing, but she's really going to be good for you. Again, in the dungeons with this weaken on her first skill, she's pretty much going to keep a weaken on the dungeon bosses, and she's going to help you wave clear with this AoE, and she's going to be buffing herself pretty regularly and getting extra turns, which in turn is going to be cycling through her cooldowns. So every time this is up, basically she gets a bonus turn to reduce this cooldown so that it becomes available quicker. So really fun little kit. As far as how to build her, I think early game, as with a lot of the starters, I think just standard attack, you're going to be looking for speed and attack percentage on her, and then as you progress through, oh that's cute, as you progress through and start to get your hands on some crit rate items and some crit rate sets, you can begin to incorporate crit rate and crit damage into her build. But early game, it's kind of hard to build for crit rate and crit damage. So you really just want to focus on the attack and the speed for her. And then you do want to get some accuracy on her, because while this says it has a 75% chance, and once you skill her up all the way, it'll have a 100% chance. What that means is it has that chance of rolling your accuracy versus the resistance of the enemy. So when this is a 100% chance, that doesn't mean she lands it every time. That means it has a 100% chance to make your accuracy roll against the resistance, and then if your accuracy wins, the debuff will land. So you do want to get some accuracy on her, because since she has such a high percentage chance of it proccing, you want the accuracy there so that it lands when it procs, so that it does become a very reliable skill. So you could even put an accuracy set on her, to be honest. You could go attack, speed, accuracy sets. For the gloves, if you've just chosen her and you're brand new, for the gloves I would go attack percentage, for the armor I would go attack percentage, and for the boots I would go speed. Then as you begin to progress through, you can begin to incorporate the crit rate into her build. So look for some crit rate percentage gloves, and then as you get your hands on the crit rate set artifacts, you can begin to incorporate that in. But the main stats that you're going to be looking for on her are very early game, attack percentage, speed, and accuracy. And then as you begin to push through a little bit and realize, when you notice that her damage starts to fall off as you push through the campaign or the dungeons, that's when you're going to want to begin working to incorporate the crit rate and crit damage, and those are going to become very important stats for her as well. So she's a little on the stat hungry side if you want to get full utilization out of her. However, she is very worth it. She has a really nice kit. Again, it is a little bit selfish in that she's only buffing herself, but she is dropping this AoE, and she's got the weaken, which is actually benefiting the team a lot in the dungeons and in clan boss. And again, there's not really a point where I think she's going to fall off too hard. I think you could use her anywhere you like at any juncture of the game, really, because she brings a little bit of everything that you need everywhere to the fight. She's got the multi-hits, she's got the AoE, she's got the self-buffing with the turn cycle built into it. So she's a pretty solid champion. So my rating for her, that's tough. I would say I would put her probably around a 7.5. I would say a 7.5 is a pretty decent. I don't think she's the best, and I think there are things about her that could be better, and I think there are champions that are going to do a lot of what she does on a better scale. But as for your starters, her ranking against the other starters, I know we gave well, yeah, I can't say that. But yeah, I think a 7.5 is a pretty decent rank for her, and she's a really solid champion that you're going to get a lot of use out of for a really long time. So I think that'll cover it for her. Like I said, we're trying to pump through these videos and get them all out, get the information out there. So if you have any questions about Athel, drop them in the comments. If you have anything to add to what I've said, if you chose her and you use her and you love her, or you chose her and you use her and you hate her, let us know why in the comments. We want as much information out there for these champs as possible. I'm a fan of Athel. I did not choose her as my starter, but I did pull her really early in the game from a sacred, so or an ancient, whichever one's the blue one. I can never remember. But pulled her from a blue shard. So I built her. She double teamed everything with my other starter. So great little champ. I still use her, and I will probably be using her for a good little bit. So again, hope this was helpful. Have any questions, drop them below. Thank you for watching. If this wasn't your champion, be on the lookout, because as I said, I'm going through every single champion in the game. So your champion will be here soon. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.